that said, today we have Catherine Foley. So English Tutor Plus and English Writer Plus. The position in the company is all of them, and it's tuition, proofreading, and writing. Tuition in and around Chelmsford, proofreading and writing anywhere that speaks English. So a couple of bits about Catherine. Her best day out is the annual family picnic on the South Downs. An embarrassing moment that's happened to Catherine. The electrician, not Dave.
Not Dave.
No. An electrician walking in on you when you were completely naked. Are you sure you weren't doing it on purpose?
He genuinely just walked straight to my bedroom without knocking. Oh,
A satisfying achievement is completing the Shine Walk, which is a great walk to raise money for cancer, a few months after major surgery. And finally, something we should all avoid is letting AI melt our brains. Put your hands together, Catherine Foley.
Hello, so I'm just in case you don't know who I am, just tell you a little bit about me. So, good start, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Now, I'm married to Dom. I think costumes are not every day, but I was thinking special from last summer. I'm a mother to two beautiful girls, Eleanor and Isabel, and that's my family. Very special to me as well. These are some of my favourite things. I'm a big fan of ABBA. I just mentioned the South Downs National Park. That's where my grandparents are from. It's really special to me. I love everything to do with the sound of music. That's our trip to Salzburg. I like a cocktail on the beach. I like making a nice dessert, and I like reading in my library. So that's a little bit about me. Library sounds so pretentious middle class, doesn't it? Okay, so of the English Tutor Plus, you know a fair bit about. I offer tutoring for English literature A-level, English language literature A-level, GCSE language, GCSE literature, and research. I mean, a big part of it really, and for proofreading and UCAS, which I'm going to talk to you about today. And the English Writer Plus is kind of sort of coming along, but I'm sort of waiting for my first hand writing job to launch this. It was kind of ready to go, and then Joshua left, and that sort of messed things up a little bit, but it'll come. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about UCAS today. So I was a sixth form tutor for most of my career. Latterly, head of sixth form. I was UCAS coordinator and also an English teacher, so I'm in quite a good position to be helping students with their UCAS applications and particularly their personal statements. So the UCAS application process, you might be aware if you've had children, they have to fill in an application which has 6 parts. This is the big one, the personal statement, but actually they're absolutely rubbish at getting them done. So hence the picture of someone just surrounded by a crap, basically. So students are really good at procrastinating. The timeline is like several months, so most schools will launch it in June, give them all the information they need, and ask them to fill in most of this, apart from personal statement, immediately. But you can still find most of them done in January. In September, applications will open, so they can start sending them off. If we're making an early application, they're meant to send them off. November is the internal deadline, usually. So as a head of sixth form, I wanted students to get it in way before the final deadline, so that it wasn't interfering with mocks and things. But January is the absolute deadline for UCAS, so that's the time space. So at the moment, hopefully most students are working on their personal statements. So this is why I want to talk to you about that today, because this is the sort of business that I would like, please. So personal statements, now I don't know about you, when I applied for university, absolutely no recollection of writing one. I must have done, but I don't remember it at all. So this is what I have to do. It's a 4,000 character, including spaces, response about themselves. That's about 600, 700 words. It used to be that you were just given basically a blank sheet and you had to write what's essentially an essay about yourself. And they changed that this year and instead replaced it with these 3 questions, which to some students, and particularly the ones who aren't confident writers, this is much better. Because 3 questions to answer is not quite so daunting. But for the students who like writing and have lots to say, they've actually found that really restrictive. And I've been working with the workshops I've done in schools have all been with high ability students who are applying for Oxford, Cambridge, medicine, dentistry, that sort of thing. They've hated this new format. So it'd be interesting to see whether UCAS introduce some sort of flexibility in the future. It'd be nice if they did. The problems with this is that you could be applying for 2 or 3 subjects. You get 5 choices for your UCAS application, and you might decide you're going to go for English literature and history, English literature and philosophy, I don't know. But you only get 1 application, so you've got to make your application fit for everything you're applying for. Equally, some universities use the personal statement differently. So as it says there, like Oxford and Cambridge, they're much more interested in the academic content of your personal statement rather than all these extra stuff that you've got. So if you're applying for Oxford and Cambridge and your 4 other applications are obviously going to be somewhere else, you can't apply for Oxford 4 times, you've got to write it so that it fits that application and all the rest of the universities. So it's a really difficult job. It's no wonder that students get quite stressed about doing it. And as you can see here, there's universities, if you look on sort of UCAS website, they all use it differently. So some universities don't look at personal statement at all. Some might use it for an interview. Some think it's really important. Some might just use it for choosing between 2 candidates. So it's a really sort of movable feast for the difficult little 17-year-olds to do well in their own. Other things that are difficult is just the idea of selling yourselves. So I mean, I was feeling like terror standing up here, which is ridiculous. I've been talking to groups of students my whole career, and it's much more difficult talking to your peers. And then that idea of selling themselves is really difficult for students. They have to try and grab attention immediately, but do so in a way that isn't really cheesy. And some of the cheesy, these are the first lines that universities really hate. I didn't use my notes, now I actually can't find it. Here we go. From a young age, I've always been fascinated by, they absolutely hate that one. I've always wanted to help people, and that makes me vomit really, doesn't it? We all do really, but we don't say it. Anything that involves the word passionate is an absolute no-go. Passionate should only be used for pornography, not for you. And pretentious quotation. Like, who cares what the other thinks? He's not applying for the place. So that's something to avoid as well, like really awful stuff. They have to try and show genuine enthusiasm for their subject without using the word passionate. They've now got to organise it into the format, which is hard to do. They've got to keep the character count. Showing, not telling. Now, this is a bit of an English teacher speak thing, but if it's no good telling us what you've done, I've done this, you've got to show us by talking about skills and things. So that's the thing that they find difficult as well. And also, they can't rely on AI. So they might have relied on AI for all sorts of things so far in their lives. They're probably embracing it way more than people in their 50s are. But you do have to say, when you've had in your application, you've got to say it's your own work. So it can't be AI. You can use AI to generate ideas, actually. So that can help, but not for actually writing it. So this is, my mouse isn't working. Is it fine? What's happening? Come on, Nick, you can do it.
IT support.
Yes, there we go. No, it's right, IT support. I'm not actually about IT classes. No, that's really small. I don't know if you can see it. I don't really want to read it out to you because it will take too long. But this is an extract from a personal statement by a really lovely boy who was in my tutor group many years ago. Can anyone read? Shall I read it very quickly? Tell me whether you think it's good or bad. Now, I'm definitely going to put my glasses on now, but this is all too small anyway. I've really messed up here, haven't I? I'm going to just kind of stand in front of you. My backside when I read it, which is how I used to teach. Outside of my schooling, I've partaken in a mixture of activities, and I'm a key member of the Essex Youth Jazz Orchestra, Brentwood District Explorers, and a local dance school. I've been a member of this dance school for 14 years, and over the course of these years, it has allowed me to grow as an individual and build my self-confidence through examinations and performances. Thanks to the Young Dance Company, I've also been able to perform with my dance school at London Menzies and Holiday Sun, as well as the Majesty's Theatre and the Royal Albert Hall. Thanks to such experiences, I am capable of speaking and performing in front of large groups of people, and my own peer group as well, which is an excellent skill when having to give presentations or indeed during interviews. Since the summer of 2015, myself, 5 other explorers, and our unit leader were planning an expedition to Peru from the 25th of July to 14th of August, during which we visited Machu Picchu, Cusco, and Lake Titicaca. Also, within Scouting, I've taken on the roles of senior patrol leader, whilst in the Scouts, and currently I am part of the Young Leaders Project, which forms part of the responsibility given to me as an Explorer Scout. Good or bad? What do you reckon?
Bad.
Bad. Why is it bad?
The waffle's too much.
It's absolutely waffle, yes.
Too much deeper date. Could have done
Yeah,
that.
we definitely didn't need the dates. Absolutely. So, this the yellow bits are the bits where they've just basically told me something but not shown me anything useful about it. The bits I've crossed out are all just superfluous words. Right? There's a character account on this, and this is just waffle. Why do we need to say outside my schooling? It's obvious it's outside my schooling. Don't tell me about the Essex Youth Jazz Orchestra when you're not going to tell me anything else about it. We don't need to know the dates of your trip. What did you get out of it? The only good bits in that are blue bits, where he's actually talked about skills, like transferable skills, the sorts of things that Toby's probably telling his clients to use all the time. They're the only good bits of it. It sounds so harsh.
I really object to the use of the word partake.
Do you?
Yeah, that's
Very cliche.
Is it just pretentious? It's right there with passion. Yeah. Okay, so this was his original. 211 words. That's 1,203 characters. And I got it down to 140 words, 823 characters. So you can see how much has been reduced. So I've actually made it font a bit bigger as well. But there's a lot more blue bits. So we want to know that the youth dancer school has helped him to build his self-confidence. It's good that he can speak in front of large groups of people. It's the important thing about planning the Scout venture is that he was working with other people. That's a good skill, isn't it? And then he really wasted Scout experiences were amazing, but he just basically told us about them. He didn't show us what he'd learned from it. So here now we can see the actual skills he's got. They oversee patrol activities, ensuring safety. That's big. So it's much, much better. So I can help students get from a load of waffle, which is too long, it's concise and helpful and is really going to help staff. So how I can help? I can do workshops in schools, and I've done a few of these. I can do drop-ins in schools as well. I've also done this where I've just gone back in and spoken to individual students about their personal statements. I can do face-to-face sessions with schools, with students either in their schools or online, in their houses. Online supports is what I did most of last year, where students actually sent me their personal statement. I annotated it, gave them suggestions, helped them with working up, and sent it back to them. And there's also top tips and advice on my website. So I think that is it. Oh yeah, no. So how you can help me? So please, if you can, mention me to anyone you know who has children who are applying to university. So it could be if you work with your clients, family, friends. Okay, because I'm quite inexpensive for this type of service, and I can really help them just get it done quite quickly. Please share any social media posts that I make about UCAS. That would be really helpful. Follow me on Facebook or on English Tutor Plus. I'm not Catherine Foley. You're welcome to follow me on Catherine Foley, but English Tutor Plus, that would be more helpful. Sharing, please. And also on Instagram, English Tutor Plus. So anything you can do there to help. Because last year it's been going really well, and this year I've only done schoolwork and I've been working on some states coming in. So it would be lovely to have some more of those. Sorry, that's very, very fast, wasn't it? Any questions? Yes.
Not so much a question, I just wanted to give you a huge testimonial and saying how useful it was having Emma go through that whole situation of personal statements. And it was really, really useful, and the advice that you were able to give was great. So thank you very much for that. But also, Ben's doing his GCSEs. We'll be able to share some work that Ben's done. Essentially, he's been marked by a teacher before he'd been marked by a teacher. And it's really just helped him correct and refine and improve and make sure that he's achieving the top rank. So can't recommend enough. Having a teacher mark your work before the real teacher sees it is amazing.
Thank you. Thanks. Yes, Paul.
Tutoring site, presumably your these skills could be applied to job applications covered next.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Presumably also any sort of academic subject that involves kind of writing essays, geography and so on.
Yeah, I mean the student proofreading I've done is not just for English, I've done a range of subjects, science-based as well, and all sorts of business economics. I can proofread anything, as long as it's written in English, I can help them with their communication and fluency. Which, even if there's not a mark given for spelling, punctuation and grammar, it just helps you put across your argument, doesn't it? Any type of piece of writing you're doing, you're trying to selling an argument, so it does need to be persuasive and well written and fluent. And yes, you can get AI to do it, but as I've said many times before, it's just not as good as a human. Yes.
On personal statements, have you ever come across anything you thought that was a complete lie. It was so.
Yeah.
Like a restaurant that lie.
Not quite as extreme as the rest of the line, but I definitely I remember one student who just wrote an absolute load of rubbish. And it's really hard to reply because you guys are not going to necessarily know. They didn't know the student. They might well have believed it. But she could really get found out if she goes to an interview. Or even turns up at university and it's suddenly clear that she's doesn't speak that language. So, yeah, I would always counsel them. That sounds really nicely. In this particular case, I have to be quite direct.
Yeah.
Totally. Yes.
Last question.
How do you keep up to date with sort of what the boards are looking for, what the universities are offering the students? Obviously, you're out for teaching direct now.
I get email updates.
Actually,
I do. I'm updating you all the time and checking what, because obviously not being in a school, you don't get access to that.
Yeah.
Like, it was a big change for the GCSE curriculum this year, and I missed it. One of the students told me, so thank goodness they did. But then the tutoring agency that I do a bit of work for, she didn't know either, so she heard other tutors were still delivering the other stuff. So now I'm really on top of it. But I will not mix anything like that again. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
There you go.